Well, you might think being a real-life astronaut would trump talking to an actor who used to pretend to be in space, but you'd be wrong. Chris Hadfield is a big fan of William Shatner, or Captain Kirk, and today the two Canadians managed to connect and talk. Not out in the final frontier, but pretty close. Mike Armstrong has the story.
Bridge to Captain.
If you ever watched even one episode of Star Trek,
Kirk here.
Then you recognize a lot of sounds. The transporter or a communicator.
Kirk to Enterprise.
Well, as Captain Kirk opened a hailing frequency to the International Space Station today,
I'm calling. This is Shatner. Do you hear me?
Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield had a classic Star Trek sound ready.
Mr. Shatner, this is the Space Research Vessel ISS in Earth orbit, and yes.
The conversation was set up by the Canadian Space Agency in St. Hubert, Quebec. Shatner was home in California, but born in Montreal, he's been following Hadfield. They met on Twitter. Shatner's among the 300,000 following the pictures Hadfield's been posting, photos taken from the cupola observation deck.
Extreme magnification.
A view Hadfield says Shatner might recognize.
The view that they used to put in for us watching Star Trek of how the world looks out of Sulu and Chekhov's windows there, that's how the world looks.
Space, the final frontier.
One of Shatner's questions dealt with spaceships. He asked if the space program is stalled now that space shuttles have been retired. Hadfield said the Orion spacecraft is coming.
We're just right now in between vehicles, much as we were after Mercury, after Gemini, after Apollo. We're just in the after shuttle era right now.
Now, Shatner has said he'd be too scared to go up in space even if given the chance, which may be why one of his questions was about fear.
I have tried to always know my lines.
Hatfield put it in acting terms, certainly something Shatner could identify with, but the captain didn't seem to buy it.
In my case, your face flushes and you get a sheen of flop sweat. In your case, you burn up. It's a little different.
Yeah, well, in both cases, you go down in flames.
The two closed their conversation with a promise to meet in person at Hatfield's cottage, possibly. The ideal spot, he told Shatner, to watch the stars and satellites go by. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.